This night was full of technical snafus on the vlogging front. I'll spare you the details, but the gist of it is I have no audio from the previous 3 hours of vlogging. So here's me closing it out. Tonight was a scouting mission on Mount Sentinel to see what the flowers are doing between, 4,500 feet and 5,500 feet. And they're looking pretty good. So I'm going to spend the next couple of days working this area of Mount Sentinel and over to University Mountain to try to get some images in those spots. I'm really excited. The bloom is looking good. The hills are so green. They really transformed in the last couple of days after a nice big drink of water. We got some nice rain the last week. So the hills are looking really, really good right now. So tonight, in addition to getting a sense of what's blooming up here, I just worked some telephoto shots of the North Hills. They look so nice in their spring green. And we had a really nice direct golden hour light tonight, giving them their long, deep, dark shadows, revealing every gully, gulch, and ridge line. Super, super nice. So the forecast looks promising for the next couple of days for some interesting clouds and sky and light. So I'll pick this vlog up tomorrow or the next day, working this specific spot. I was on my way to Mount Sentinel to head back up to the spot I was working last night, and I realized the conditions just aren't right. It's too clear. There's only a few clouds in the sky. It's a beautiful day to be out, beautiful day for a walk and a stroll, but I just don't find it very compelling for the kinds of shots I was thinking up there. There just won't be any interest in the sky, and the shots on Sentinel and the university really hinge on an interesting sky because there's going to be so much of it in those shots. So I'm going to embrace the old cliche of working smarter and not harder, which is something I've really been trying to embrace lately because I tend to just go hard day after day after day, hiking, photography, until I wear myself out, and then I'm useless. And even in those times when I'm going hard every single day, I tend not to produce all that great of stuff. I'm just too tired. I'm gonna play this one smarter and not harder today. I'm gonna call it and go for a walk with my wife and just take it easy tonight and save myself for tomorrow when the forecast looks more favorable to go back up there. Be ready to get out again tomorrow. Okay, everything is just setting up perfectly for this to work tonight. The light is just amazing. So here's what's going on. The bloom is starting to move vertically as the climate favors these higher elevations. So I was up on Mount Sentinel 2 days ago scouting and found some really good patches. And then I looked over to University Mountain, where I am now, which is a little further along the ridge, and saw that it was wild. There's just full-on bloom, the paintbrush, the balsam root, the lupin, the larkspur, everything is blooming up here, and it's got to be peak. It's just so nice. There was a storm system forecasted to move in this evening, and it's happening, and it's looking like, and it's setting up perfectly for a spectacular sunset. I don't say that with confidence often, but given the way the clouds are setting up, that they are moving in from the southwest and leaving a gap in the northwest where the sun will set, I would say I'm 95% confident that we're gonna get a strong sunset with late day golden hour light here and a spectacular light in the clouds. I've been trying to find a composition looking back down towards Missoula with the bends of the river going out of Hellgate Canyon into the Missoula Valley. And I just haven't been able to find a nice gap with flowers in it because there are a lot of trees on this hillside. There aren't a lot of clearings to get that clear view. But then it's a matter of matching those clearings with some nice full patches of flowers. And that's what I've struggled to find the last couple of years is a full patch of flowers with that gap and timing it with the right light. And I found it. I found this really beautiful patch of paintbrush. They're just lovely. So I'll show you the composition I'm working on. As usual, disregard the fact that this is cropped 16 by 9. We're losing some of the edges here. There's a little bit more breathing room in the actual photo. It's a 2:3 aspect ratio on the side. So anyways, we got this paintbrush right here in the foreground. That's kind of the most prominent one. There's actually one right behind it too. You can kind of see it blending in. I just moved the camera a little bit. Instead of being here, I moved it there so they kind of blend. With this composition, I was really thinking carefully about the puzzle pieces and leaving a little bit of space for this paintbrush in the foreground to have some green around it to help separate it from the next one and the next one and then the next ones as you go further into the scene. Again, they're like puzzle pieces. The idea, at least conceptually, in terms of the visuals on this, is that the eye would move from flower to flower and kind of bounce in through the scene with nice separation until finally you get down into the Missoula Valley. And so here's the cool thing. I'm going to focus on the background now. Look at this. There's a beautiful gap in the clouds here. The clouds are moving in from the southwest over here. They're moving up this way, and the sun is working its way and probably is going to set somewhere over here, which is just perfect. So we're almost guaranteed at this point some really great sunset light with those clouds in there too. It's a little weird with this graduated neutral density filter. See, it balances the exposure, but we're darkening those trees, which looks a little funky. Very fixable in post, but also kind of annoying. So I might shoot an exposure for the sky in which it is darkened and balanced with the rest of the scene. That's the idea. So I'm gonna refine this, just make sure all the little puzzle pieces are where they need to be to make this as strong of a foreground as possible. And then I'll start practicing the focus stacking to get ready for when the light kicks off. I think there's gonna be a couple of instances that are gonna be cool here. When the light pops through this gap, it's gonna backlight all these paintbrush, which will be really amazing. So I'll take a bunch of shots then, and then I'll also wait for actual sunset when the clouds light up too. Have a bunch of different options. Well, that could not have gone better. It's very rare for me that a plan goes to plan, where I'm like, all right, I got a shot in mind. I've been thinking about that one for a couple of years. I've tried it maybe half a dozen times over the last couple of years. I've just never found the right gap with the right flowers to look down that corridor along the Clark Fork River into the Missoula Valley, and to get it with what couldn't have been better light. It was just ideal. That little gap in the clouds meant blasting the valley with that golden light and backlighting the flowers. And there was just barely a breeze, which made the shots very reasonable to get. Wow. I'm gonna be buzzing with this one for a couple of days. That's my favorite. It's always so nice when you can find a composition early. In this case, like an hour and a half before sunset. Know that you have plenty of time. You can go slow, you can work the settings, you can tweak the composition just right. And then you just wait and you sit and you take in the vista. It doesn't get any better than that. And when you get good light to boot, just the best. Wow, that was special. Well, that's gonna do it for this vlog. This was fun. This was a really fun experience trying to figure out this shot here. I got a bit of a walk back home, so I'm gonna get my steps on. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.